So I've been thinking a lot about what it takes to start over. Because when people talk about starting over, they make it sound very exciting. Nobody talks about the fear. They only talk about the new opportunities, fresh beginnings. No one talks about what it takes to actually start over and rebuild. The fear of the uncertainty, the times where you just start to wonder if you're not too old to begin again. That's another thing about it. Well, anyway, before I moved to the UK, right, I was running a small business I was actually very passionate about and was thinking of, growing the business or moving it to the next level, right? Then when I made the decision to relocate and to come to the UK to rebuild, I wanted to choose a career path. And for me, there were two distinct like choices. Was either the healthcare or tech. Because I felt like if you're not in healthcare or not in tech, then what career path do you want to choose? And I know a lot of people say, just pick somewhere you're passionate about. For me, my business is really where my passion lies. But then I strongly believe that if you're smart, you're book smart, you can just get into a career path that, is high paying. That's my personal opinion of things. So when I was making that decision, I had to speak to two of my best friends, one in healthcare and one in tech, just to help me, to make an informed decision. I came to the UK after making that decision and I started on that career path. When I got to the UK, nobody prepared me for the uncertainty of everything. Starting over is one thing, but they're now wondering if you've made the right decision. You know, there is the Home Office changing their rules every now and then. There's the visa restrictions. There are also job restrictions because you cannot even work for a certain time frame, right? After I did that, settled in, started to actually build something, then along the line, things became clearer. It looked like the path that I've picked is not going to lead me to where I actually want to be. And then recently I traveled to Canada. And then when I went to Canada, I it's like something in me shifted. It's like I started to look at things differently. It's like I started to see opportunities that I did not see before, especially with the route to Canada being more, would I say, stable, right? In terms of, the visa restrictions, the laws. And then that uncertainty came again. What will it take to actually make that move and go into another country? There's the fear of actually starting all over again in another space. And there's just this thing with change, right? I want to believe that no matter how brave and how courageous you are when it comes to accepting change, change is inevitable. We all know that. But when it has to do with life choices, something that can actually make or break your path, you now start to, really think about it. Like, what if I make the wrong decision again? There are so many what ifs. And I think what I'm struggling with is just accepting the fact that the life I'm currently building might not be the life that will really give me that overall satisfaction and that stability and that security that I want. And I do genuinely need to go somewhere else, start all over to get that fulfillment. And that in its own, it's not scary, but it's still a mental load. Because if I do decide to start all over, make the move, just do it, it is not going to be a one day thing. It's going to take series of planning, it's going to take series of research, and not just me focusing on that. There are also, day-to-day hustle and bustle. There is also my 9 to 5. There is also the thing I do on the side. So it just begs the question, like, why is starting all over again so scary, especially when you've done it before and you're doing it again, or you're thinking of doing it again for the second time? Okay, so you see, whenever I ask, for advice generally, I'm the type of person that would actually ask advice of, people that I trust, people that are building the kind of life that I envision myself building. You know, when I do ask for their advice, you realize that a lot of people have like the same thought process when it comes to rebuilding like your life, and when it comes to like starting all over again. It's daunting for so many people, and you get a lot of, how do I put it? I wouldn't say pushbacks. Sort of like you get a lot of advice that sort of steers you towards not taking that step. Something about the devil, but not in the same words, but something like that. But I think I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that because something is familiar doesn't always mean it's the best thing for me. But yeah, I just want the universe and God to sort of like push me towards where I'm supposed to be, and it can only get better.